Hello, hello. I hope everybody's doing great today. We're back with The Change Starts Here, and we're actually reviewing a podcast today that all of us watched, and it is The World Will Be Unrecognizable. The podcast was with
Pam Gregory.
Pam Gregory. There we go. Sorry, I just had a moment. I forgot what the name was. Um,
Mhm.
let's start with this. I'm going to say that I believe in astrology, but I am not into it like a lot of people are. So I'm not necessarily familiar with all the terms and what everything means. So I had to take a lot of notes with this. I'm not going to lie. I took notes with my AI chat GPT so that it could explain to me what she was talking about. So I do have notes. And hello, everybody. Nice to see all of you here.
Nice to
Oh,
be here.
Good, good. Are you glad to be here, Holden?
I'm ecstatic. Yes.
Good.
Say what's up.
Today we have Holden. He was here last or a few days ago, as well as Karita and Nicole. We have a new visitor today. Kenneth, how are you today, Kenneth?
Pretty good. A little tired, but I'm doing all right.
Good. Well, we're glad to see your face and we're glad that you joined us. The
Thank you.
first thing that she talked about was February 20th, and that's why we're here today and going to put this out tomorrow morning, possibly tonight. Does anyone know why tomorrow, February 20th, is so significant? No.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Well, I don't know.
What's
Well,
Well,
maybe
let's say
discussion
this.
about.
Saturn Neptune
Oh,
is in conjunction at 0 degrees Aries. Now, this is important because it's the ending of old structures and the start of something new, whether in terms of collective beliefs or societal shifts. I think that everybody can recognize that we are going through a change. How does everybody feel about that?
100%? Yeah.
agree. I
I think
agree.
it'd be great.
Agreed.
Can anybody see those changes, or does anyone have a guess about how things are going to change in society or what's literally happening right now? Because things are changing.
Well, I think also like what you were saying, the significance of tomorrow. This hasn't, at 0 degrees hasn't happened in anybody's lifetime here on this earth because it happened like 9,000 years ago at 0 degrees. So that should raise everybody's antennas. I would hope something like that hasn't happened in 9,000 years. We're like, whoa, along
Yeah,
with all the other celestial things that happened, this week. So I think um, we're in for a ride.
hmm
I do too.
I would say changes, honestly, for what I see a huge, enormous separation of people. That's what I see. The stuff I see today, everything is separating people. I think it's built to have us fighting each other right now, very strongly.
It's what is built.
I feel like everything right now um, is having a lot of people fighting each other right now, and
Oh,
you're on this side or you're on this side, and it's making a lot of separations. But I think there's a lot of hot air right now and unsettled people. I mean, I'm good, but that's just what I've seen.
But I think in the fact that they are trying to separate us and trying to cause conflict between neighbors is actually drawing people together. Because let's just take a moment to look at Minnesota and everything that's going on there. They are trying to pull us apart, but in Minnesota, they are collectively gathering as a unit to fight against something that they don't believe is right. And I think it's kind of backfiring on them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could say that too.
And
They're
then
there.
the opposite of that, you can look at the children in China. I think it was in China or in Korea. I think it was China. China or Japan. That all the school children came out and prayed. I think it was over 1 million children that came out and prayed at the same time for like peace, prosperity, those type of things. So while we got this little sector of things, there are much bigger things that are also happening to combat that. So.
No, I totally agree. And I think everybody also needs to remember that this just doesn't affect the United States. This is a worldwide thing. It's not just us in our corner of the world. People are reacting and coming together all over the world. And that also is a sign of Earth rising, communities 2.0, world 2.0. Everybody is going to change. Everybody feels that change. Everybody feels the stress of the change. But at the same time, all the negative things that are happening right now in reality are waking people up to the fact that we need to see change. We need to experience change. We need to come together. We need to rise as a community of people, as tribes like we are right here, right now. And that is why, one more thing, that I am encouraging people to join us, join our tribe, join this podcast. Let your feelings be known. Let people know that they're not out there alone, that we're all in this together.
Mm-hmm. I think we just need to come back to love. I hope that's part of the change.
I agree.
I agree.
Yeah. But as far as what was the next topic in that video?
The next topic, well, March 28th of 2026, a solar eclipse. Eclipses are often symbolized as turning points, possible shift in collective awareness or leadership narratives. I think that's really significant to us right now. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think that's why all over the world, every leader, so-called, is fighting so much to keep the status quo the same. Because they feel it. They know change is inevitable. They know it is coming. So they're fighting extremely hard, to hold on to that status quo as long as they can.
I
Right.
don't think it's gonna last that long, though. To be honest, I think it's breaking down right before our eyes.
It is. I agree.
I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
What do you think, Kenny?
I think they're
Absolutely.
paddling up creek.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I didn't hear you.
I said I think they're paddling up creek.
Oh, yeah.
Good way to put it.
I mean,
At a fevered pitch. You're smiling, Nicole. What are you thinking?
Well, I'm just, no, just you edit that for them.
Oh my gosh.
oh, you can edit
because
it out.
you know what? People are really wanting the truth at this point. They want the covers to be taken off of their eyes. They want to see what's being hidden. They're tired of just being pacified with BS, and they're ready to make a move towards truth.
Do you think people are ready to unlock like the true power of their spirit and soul? Do you think that's coming?
I totally think that's coming. All that stuff that's been hidden from people for years and years. And the funny thing is, the most wealthy people, the people that are in power, they use it all the time. They literally took that part out of the Bible years and years because they don't want you to know your power. If you don't have access to your power, you can't fight against them fairly.
Exactly.
So now that people are waking up and rising up and realizing, yes, I do have power. I can co-create change. That's going to be a total game changer. It's gonna be a
or that
complete,
I am change.
yeah,
Me, I'm change. I'm powerful.
exactly.
Yeah.
And when you get a bunch of people together with that same mindset,
Yes.
that's
Yeah,
crazy moment.
I think it's good. Definitely time to
Well, I
wake
think
up.
Laura, what you were just saying about, okay, why is this? Why I'm hearing four of me? There's such bad feedback.
I think it's because I'm gonna do something real quick.
Does that happen to you, Holden?
What?
When you're talking, you're just like there's multiple Holdens talking.
Okay, how's that? Because you were on twice for some reason.
Yeah, I think that was the problem
Yay!
because now it's not doing it. Yay!
I'm curious though.
But
Kenny, what's your ideas on what I'm throwing out there as far as the awakening of people, just knowing their spirit's free and have power to change their own lives?
I think a lot of people need guidance in that effort, and I hope that's what this podcast can do, is help give that guidance, because a lot of people are lost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, because what's going to have to happen, Kenny, people are going to have to unlearn things and be okay with unlearning things the way that they used to do things, and be okay with things were taught to them incorrectly, and be okay with that and say, okay, I'm open to this new thing that everybody is calling change, but it's always been there. It was just hidden. And so we're
Mhm.
going to have to unlearn a lot of things.
I
Okay.
agree.
You know who's really synced up and should actually be on this? Jordan should be here.
Well, he was supposed to be here last week and this week, and he had something going on both times, but he says he's gonna definitely join us next week.
But Jordan definitely tapped into some stuff, man. Jesus. Yeah.
Definitely is. Definitely is.
Good.
So we'll get him on here.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I'm intrigued.
and what?
I'm very intrigued.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, yes, yes. So, number 3, April of 2026. It's a time of integration after the conjunction and the eclipse. Some astrologers might suggest a subtle revealing of the themed seated, more about internal shifts than external explosions.
Yeah, that's the only way change occurs individually.
That's right. Because it takes one person, literally one person at a time,
Yes,
to feel the change.
yes.
Yeah,
So,
one person can lead a group though. You know?
mhm.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing, Holden, we've been led. And so we haven't been leaders, we've been followers.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's true. That's true.
I
I
would
think
say the majority of the United States, first of all, I think we're behind in spirituality anyway. But a lot of people in the United States they've been drinking a lot of Kool-Aid. A lot of Kool-Aid. And then you know what the saddest part is that they feel the changes. They know something's not right, but the fear of hell and Satan and all who are evil is so strong in them because it's been pressed into their head year after year after year after year that they are afraid to listen, learn, and actually make changes towards the vibration that's coming for all of us.
It's hard to break that though for them. It's hard.
Oh,
It's
I know.
hard. I don't know.
It is because people don't want to feel like they're wrong. You know, people, especially in the United States, you know, we do things to perfection. We got to be perfect at all times. I mean, we check ourselves 20 times before we leave out the house in the morning because, you know, we're going to be perfect when we walk out that door. Have the perfect job, the perfect mate, you know. So there's no room for error here in this here country. No room for flaws. And it's sad.
Well,
Mhm.
and also, what if they make that change and they're wrong? Right? And so they're thinking, what if? And then I'm going to go to hell. Instead of, what if you make that change and you're right? Because here's the facts. This is the truth. No one's going to get out of this alive, right?
Yep.
But more importantly, nobody's not going to go back to their creator. We're all going home. We're all
Oh,
one
no.
with source.
Oh,
So the fear is really irrelevant, and people just need to be embraced by the warmth of the opportunity to live their lives in such a manner that they can really be creative and explore and co-create. And I'm just really hoping that comes. And I'm really hoping that conversations like this, maybe people who wouldn't typically listen to stuff like this, all five of us, we're real people living a real life with real experience as well as
I'm
real
an
as it
avatar.
possibly can be. I was going to say as real as it can possibly be here on Earth. But I just really hope that we are able to plant seeds just enough to make people curious to actually listen to what we're talking about silently, privately, in their own little house, in their own bathroom, wherever they want to listen to us. And maybe that seed planted will start shooting roots of green.
Yeah.
Because
Fair enough.
also the thing is that people have to understand that once they research and they have to do, you got to do the work in order for it to change, because what we did was follow the leader. We followed what our parents told us was correct, and from there we said, well, my parent told me this, and so it must be correct, and on and on and on. And nobody ever checks, nobody questioned it.
Right, right.
Nobody said, oh, I don't know. That doesn't sound right. I did when I was younger because I don't know, just a different type of child, was a different type of child. But I did. I questioned a lot of things that just didn't make sense to me. And so
Right.
I hope now that these new generation of children are coming in, the star children coming
Yeah.
in, and will help us and will aid people, you know.
I think the best thing about you're talking about you questioned things when you were young and it was early. The greatest thing that happened for me was my mom and dad. When my older siblings were growing up, just so you know, Holden, you're sideways now.
Damn. Okay.
My older siblings had to go to church. It didn't matter what happened the night before, they had to go to church every Sunday without question. They had to be there. By the time I came around, and I was number 9, and that rule changed real early on because I started questioning things at 12 years old. I started questioning the church, the minister, the pastor, whatever Methodist people call them. And I would voice it to my parents all the time. And they said, you know what? Why don't you, because I lived on a farm, I grew up on a farm. When we go into church, you ride with us and you go to any church you want to go to. So I went to the Baptist church and I went to the Lutheran church and I just was a little bit of everywhere. And it still wasn't ringing true. It was not aligning with what I felt inside of my soul. And eventually I didn't go to church. I did my own thing. I watched a lot of The Sound of Music on Sundays. But I started creating my own identity, which really ultimately led to who I am today, but with credit to my parents for allowing me to explore my own internal feelings
Yes.
and my disconnects. Now, don't get me wrong, I did have children and they did go to church for a short amount of time, and I did teach Sunday school, and I did lead the little things at Christmas. I was a part of that. However, it just was not resonating with me. Just as I feel that it doesn't resonate with a lot of people out there, this is what's happening. People are falling away from the church. They don't go on Sundays, they don't go at all. And their biggest leader is sports.
You
That's
said
what they
sports?
watch sports. They like to watch football and basketball and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And the truth of the matter is that nobody wants to say out loud that they don't believe in the BS that they're feeding them, but they don't want to admit that they don't believe it. So just don't go.
Yeah, when they do that, they just, but for me, I guess because my background too is, science and stuff. So I'm like, do your research, investigate, don't just take my word for it,
Right.
And I think if more people would do that, they will have their own revelations based on what somebody else said. There
Right.
are all kind of texts that are out here, ancient texts that are out here. The Americas is new. United States is new. We're the newest, of the Americas. And other countries like, Japan and all of them, they, anywhere in Asia, they've been here forever. They've been doing this for a long time.
Right.
I think honestly, for me, what got me away from church, I would say the Christianity part of it. There's just I didn't want to be a part of something with that much death connected to it. All the crusades going to other places, screw your leader, read our books, or else we're gonna kill you. All that stuff actually happened,
Yeah.
and the word is spreading the religion. There's a lot of death and horror behind it all. And I couldn't back it up with it. That's part of it.
That's interesting.
Well, let me say, I got family members who are Christians, and I don't have anything against people going to church. I think there's some people that really need church to feel a part of something. So I don't want to go out there saying, down with Christians. I am so not like that. Half my family, probably more than half of my family is Christians. And I do have family that's hardcore Christian, and I love them equally so. So I just want to make sure everybody understands I'm not against Christianity, but at the same time, I am for the awakening that's happening around the world.
Mm-hmm.
And so was Jesus, because if they really, I want to get biblically, if you want to look at it, that's where he went. He went to Asia to learn.
You're right.
That's where his roots were. He went there. That long gap in the Bible where they don't know where he was after a certain age, and all of a sudden he just showed up. He was somewhere. So he was there. He was studying.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
Kenny and Nicole, you're being extremely quiet.
I'm listening.
Well,
I'm
thinking
listening. I'm taking it in.
Yeah, I don't know.
I went to a
I think-
funeral the other day, and it wasn't a sad funeral. It was actually he was old, had anyway, it was just a true celebration of life.
Mhm.
And it had been a while since I had gone to church, and I just remember sitting there the other day, just kind of thinking how different the wording in the Nicene Creed and, is some of the other prayers and whatnot that they used to say when I was younger. And I mean, the minister really kind of even incorporated spirituality into the sermon. And I think that's also a big reason why people are becoming more spiritual. It's becoming more acceptable. And I mean, the churches, I mean, we said it earlier. I mean, the thing that leaders do not want is their people to become educated, because then we question things and then we ask. And then it's harder to, I mean, it's just kind of all incorporated. So
Well,
but
I was just
Wait.
going to say, if you think about it, it's really no different than the slaves. They didn't want the slaves to learn to read or write or anything, because if they became too smart, then all hell would break loose, right?
That's the first thing I
exactly.
Yeah. But Nicole, if you go back to what you just said, they're incorporating spirit into their sermons and into the churches. But if you start at the beginning, like we were talking about astrology, what did they look to see whether or not he was being born? You look to the sky, you look to the stars.
Exactly.
Stars.
Exactly.
So it all relates. It just really does.
Exactly. I couldn't agree more.
Mm.
I found the video just quite interesting. I didn't take any notes. I listened to it while I was driving down the road at 65. But it hit a note with me. I mean, like, the whole Atlas thing being a consciousness and stuff like that. And that's kind of what I believe in is each individual needs to find their self through their own consciousness. They need to find that consciousness and become a better person, be able to love and just cherish what they have, to reach out and share this with other people. And I don't know, just help them, guide them, to a better place. And you'll see things manifest in your life
Yes.
the way you want them to, because you'll change you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I made any sense in that, but I sure tried.
Nope, that was good.
That was good.
Made perfect sense.
Yes.
Well,
In a way, it made me think about when we were in church as kids. What everything you just described, Kenny, was we're taught to pray, and then God answers our prayers. It's the same. I mean, you just said it, and that's what Christianity tries to take away, that our own power and our own strength.
Because words are power. My mother used to tell me that all the time. She reminded us, me and my sibling, she said, be careful how you speak because they have power.
I remember one of your siblings saying that.
Yes, that's what she used to always teach us because she knew there's power in the tongue. So when you speak these things or say these things, it has power, has vibration.
That's right. When I was growing up, my dad would always say, be careful what you ask for, because it will come to you.
mm-hmm.
He would just say that. He wasn't trying to be spiritual. He wasn't trying. There's so many things now that I look back on my mom and dad, and I have some of my mom's books. I didn't think that she was into any of this, but she had books that talked about this, which just blew me away because I didn't know it until after she had passed. And there's just little sayings that people used to say. There's so much unsaid power from all those old things, but that one is so specific. Be careful what you ask for because you may get it.
I
There's
don't know. I'll
conversation.
say be careful what energy you intake.
Oh, yes. Yes.
And also the vibrations you give off.
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, be mindful of what you're taking in, I'll say.
Absolutely. I agree. And all of us right now, we're vibrating, and thank goodness we're vibrating at a higher level. So
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey, you
I
guys are
expect good
vibrating.
things for
Right
all
in
of
the
us.
back here.
I agree
Yeah.
too. And I just lost my little notes. Sorry about that. Okay. Yeah, we're probably not staying perfectly aligned with the video, but that's the beauty of it is when you are collaborating as a group, it may go left and it may go right, but it goes in the right direction for that moment for those people who are watching.
I agree.
All right, number 4 was June and July. Now I know there was something said more than what is on my notes, but it's framed as an extreme awakening period. People are going to, things are going to start being revealed to us that we are going to not like, and in turn start getting together as communities to, I don't want to say fight against it because that's a horrible vibration, but to rise towards something more positive together. People, like I said, I already said it, people really want to know the truth now. People don't want their eyes covered. This whole year is supposedly going to change our view, our concept of the world and how things work. A lot of things are going to be politically revealed. Also, it says that a lot of things are going to be financially revealed, and there may be some upheaval with banking and things of that nature. Now, she was saying be prepared. This year, she said we need to keep cash on hand. We need to have some canned goods, some dried goods. She also said, though, don't panic. It's not a long-term thing. It's a short-term thing, but it's better to be prepared and have that stuff on hand than caught off guard. So June and July are both supposed to be huge in that area and about finances.
Mm.
Yep.
Any words to add to that?
My word would be spread your money around. That's kind of my advice. Spread your money around.
Don't keep it in one place.
Yep. Don't keep it in one place. Make sure you figure out how to get your money, because there are some laws that have changed, like with the banking system. I think
FDIC.
some things that have changed, and for, like, was it Bank of Republic, a couple other banks that were just shut down. There was like a run on the banks when nobody could get to their money.
Mm-hmm.
Or think of a disaster like Katrina, when no money because the whole city flooded. Think about things like that in those situations. So just have a
Right.
way to get to your money and spread your money around.
Well, and she was also saying that because of this stuff that's about to happen, the sense of community will increase because now you're going to be helping your neighbors and your neighbors will be helping you, and your tribe will be more important than ever.
And that's funny she said that too, because remember, Laura, I kept saying I really hadn't moved yet because I needed to find my community. I was saying it for the last couple of years, And that's strange that she said that, and I purposely have not moved because I need to find that right community. And
Right.
I'm not talking about neighborhood
Right.
community. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. I mean, how many times have we talked about moving? But the reality of it is, we're going to be here for a while, and the fact of the matter is that if something were to happen, or if people were to need us, we're here.
Yes.
You know. So, all right.
Don't come to mind.
Oh, sorry. What'd you say, Holden?
Nothing.
Oh.
Nothing.
Never you mind. Okay. The meaning of the Saturn-Neptune cycle and how to interpret it will be endings for new beginnings. Symbolically, how can people reflect on personal or societal changes?
I'll let somebody else go.
I'm going to do the same thing because that takes a lot of reflection.
Oh,
Say
let's
that
go
again.
on.
How can we reflect on personal and societal changes?
On personal or societal changes, because we're coming up on a lot of ending of stuff, and she also suggested that there's going to be some ending in political and financial arenas to open the door for new beginnings.
I would just say preparation. It's enough people out here doing things like we're doing, enough people like Pam that were sent here to alert people, to warn people, for lack of a better word, to get it together. This is happening.
It's an opportunity to help create change.
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that everybody also needs to remember or know. Really, I mean, we come here to Earth and we forget everything we knew on the other side, right? And
Yeah.
so really, all this stuff that's going on, we already know it. It's just so we don't remember it.
Yeah.
So as we go through this change, and guys, I think that those of us who chose to be here right now in this era are the leaders, are the people who have been studying for this lifetime and lifetime and lifetime to be here to engage in this world change. Because I'm telling you right now, the world is going to change, and it's going to take some really strong people to guide people, to be the neighbor of people, to help people through this time. It's just a fact. It's really probably that they're sitting back, like the one lady said, sitting back, eating popcorn and watching us from above, like this is a really good movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for everybody's not going to be able to watch. You know what I'm saying? From the sidelines, they're going to have to be activated. It's going to take some activation, because I think it's going to take all of us to make sure, because we have free will in this world,
Yeah,
and we're just trying to push it into a different direction. And so it's going to take all of us to activate it in order us to go into that direction that we want to go into. Because change doesn't necessarily mean, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't
right.
necessarily mean that. And then we're going to have to prepare ourselves to mentally, if that doesn't seem to be going the way that we think it should be going, but it will eventually. How do we survive in that moment? And those moments of doubt, those moments of confusion, because
Well, I
it can't.
think even like this podcast, the people that do feel what's going on, they're going to seek out answers and seek out more knowledge and what's going on. So I think it's all going to happen pretty naturally.
Mm-hmm.
And there's just because the program we got now, there's not it's just not adding up. and people are just tired of that.
Mhm.
And I think there's nothing to push but speaking openly about things. The people who are ready to seek it and find whatever, I think we should keep going so people can see, that there is something else out there.
Right.
So, yeah, it's going to happen naturally. Because, yeah. So
Yeah.
what we're doing here is good.
Thank you. I think we're doing something amazing. And I just know that people don't like change. And so I think there's a lot of anxiety attached to all the things that's happening in the world right now because they can just feel that heightened vibration that makes people have anxiety. Maybe they don't even understand why they're feeling anxiety or feeling nervous or feeling, scared. Let's just use the word scared. Um, but I think people need to remember that a lot of people, all of us, are to some degree fearful of change, right? Um, Even when someone is in a marriage, for example, and they know that they're going to have to go through a divorce, even if they want to divorce, there's still that level of fear because of the change. Um, Separating from the predictable or the known, even though they may be unhappy, um, nobody just really wants to say, I want a divorce. They don't want to be the one, right? But eventually it happens anyway. And then after the fact, it's almost like a relief. You just, and then you move on with your life and experience new things, and you feel a huge weight lifted off of you.
Right.
And that's just one example of change and of endings and new beginnings. And I think on a level of the world, that's kind of we're on that precipice of change.
And to keep us centered, remember, Nicole, when we were talking about doing all of the rituals, those
Yes.
tools, that's what those tools are for. Because you can get off centered, or maybe fear does, like Laura was just saying, can seep in at some point of this change that we're going through. And so you can center yourself again, center your energy, because like you said, your body is vibrational. And so
Mhm.
drop down to a lower vibration, you always want to have it at an elevated level. So then you can do the candles and the incense and things like that to calm yourself and bring you back to that level.
That's
Regardless.
awesome.
Yeah.
Another thing we spoke about was the eclipse, and the eclipse is seen as a time of realignment, and it's a time to really reflect inward to give yourself internal clarity.
You think we need to start meditating more?
Yes.
Okay. Meditation.
Yes. Reflection.
Mm-hmm.
And where do you want to go? What do you want of yourself?
Mm-hmm.
That is
Yeah.
the big thing. I mean, for me, learning about spirituality is what am I? Who am I? And what am I going to do with it?
Mm-hmm.
And where do I want to go? Who do I want to be? It meditation is what will bring that to you.
Mm. Yeah.
Yes, agree.
Yeah. I think that's part of, I think, how do you say, stripping down all the physical bullshit, you know what I'm saying? And see who you truly are, or who you want to be, you know what I'm saying? Like, as far as on the soul level, like all the physical bullshit, you know what I'm saying? Not that, but for yourself.
Yeah. The superficial stuff that I was talking about, the 20 times checking yourself in the mirror before you go out of the house. Yeah, the superficial.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah, I think like Kenny's sort of thinking, if you work on yourself on the inside, it don't matter what you got on, you're gonna glow naturally.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Correct.
People are just gonna be attracted for you. You know, things are gonna go well because you
Yep.
have a natural glow. Your spirit, people see it.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the goal.
Mm-hmm. So
I
yeah,
feel like we
probably
have no
deep
choice in the
meditation.
matter. If we want to survive, I don't think I mean, cancer rates are going up, and that's all because of stress and worry and all the ick that we don't release from our bodies and that we fixate on. I mean, we kill ourselves basically. So we
Correct.
have no choice but to do those things.
Yeah.
So instead of the doom scrolling on Facebook, which I've totally been guilty of, that's when you take that time to just write or just listen, just think. I mean, sit in silence for a while, listen to your own head.
Yes.
Yes.
There's a lot of distractions today.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Nicole, I just think that you hit that on the head. How many people get up and grab their phone first thing in the morning and look at, right, you're looking at either the news or Facebook or crazy stuff. I'm going to say the
Mhm.
next word. How does that actually start yourself out for the day? Does it start you out in a positive mode or a negative mode? What are you instantaneously setting your vibration to be? Because whatever you watch, whatever you read is going to affect your vibration for that day.
Very
I've
true.
seen it. I've seen that happen.
Yeah. I
Because
mean,
I wake up in the morning, see son, mother of 5 got shot, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to start my day with this. Jeez, that's rough, you know?
I've literally said to myself, okay, enough of the doom and gloom. Let's get this positive vibration going. Because Nicole, what's that mother, the mother who was kidnapped?
Oh, the news.
Oh, Nancy Guthrie.
Mom?
Oh, we talk about that just about every day.
Right. And if we have to talk about it, I guess, how could we talk about it from a positive perspective? I mean, because everything on the news is always from a negative perspective.
That's a rough way to
Right.
start the day.
It's a horrible way.
Yeah.
You
You can talk about it if you want to talk about it. You can say send in love and light and
Right. That's what I mean.
turn to a safe place of embrace of our family. Talk about it that way.
What were you saying, Kenny?
Well, I was just thinking that, don't you think the news, every single 1 million outlets of them, is designed to
100%.
beat you down, keep you in your corner? I know some of them probably just want to report something, but the way it's written,
Mhm.
okay.
Because we're addicted to the adrenaline that is created within us that causes the same stuff I was talking about, the anxiety, the fear, and all that stuff. It's like they know that they're feeding that adrenaline siphon, and then we wake up and out of habit we're picking up the phone and reading it without even thinking about what we're doing to ourselves and collectively what we're doing to all the people around us.
Yeah.
Right. I'm going to step back on something you said there about the anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that sells medication.
Mm-hmm. You're right.
You have to look a little bigger sometimes and see that a lot of this is designed for profit for the rich.
Good job.
I mean,
Good job.
yes, because good
Thank
news
you, thank
doesn't
you.
sell. Good news
Correct.
doesn't sell. Fear and tragedy. That's what sells.
That's what sells.
Yep.
It
That's why
makes
they
you scared of it, and how can they keep going to make you more afraid of it? Yeah, I mean, yes.
Well, if we're going to talk about that on that line, Kenny, they say the number one thing that causes stress is, that causes cancer is stress and anxiety. Well, there you go. They're the richest people out there because they're feeding us stress and anxiety. We're eating it like it's the best thing we've ever tasted. And then we're surprised when we have high blood pressure, cancer, Well,
Yeah.
what do most people do? I don't personally do it because I'm a natural healing person, but they run for pharmacies.
Yep.
They go to the doctors, they run to the pharmacies. Unfortunately, my sister recently had cancer. She has gotten through cancer, but because of the chemo and stuff, now she has back pain. And so what does she have to do? Just take medication to try to alleviate the back pain. But that's causing another symptom. So now she's taking something else to alleviate that symptom, excuse me. So it's just
Without curing.
right.
Well, but look at the healthcare industry. I mean, if you keep people alive longer, they're going to need that equipment more. They're going to need those drugs. They're going to need, this, that, and the other thing. And then FDA takes those newly approved drugs and they give them to everybody. And then they find out other ways of little diseases or little things that other people are dealing with, that it works for that too. It's all money.
It is. So hopefully we will vibrationally raise above it all, right?
Exactly.
I'll start
Make it rain.
All right. Okay, we're going to move on to Pluto and Aquarius. Explore what collective power shifts might mean. Decentralization, community building, tech disruption, and how people can shape these shifts into a positive thing.
Aquarius is love and happiness and all of those type of high vibrations, So even with anything that goes into Aquarius, it's going to shift that way or shift that alignment because we are going into the age of Aquarius. So that's just kind of my belief with that's happening.
So you think it's going to happen naturally?
Yes. I think everything happens naturally. I think that because we have free will in this world and we are vibrational beings, that whatever level of vibration is on is the way that things are going to start changing. But, and like I said, all of it, I don't think is going to be for, all cherries and roses. I just don't. Because with great challenges or your destiny still comes challenges. It's like, if you want to be, president of the United States, okay, but you got a lot of challenges because you're the president of the United States. So it's not all roses and cherries, when you ask for certain things, you got to be willing to suffer those consequences also with that. So yeah, I think it will happen naturally, but I think as a society, we can push it further into a certain direction, either way, quicker.
Well, like going back to what I was saying, the seekers are going to seek, and the people are in power are going to fight to keep the power. That's natural. It's been the same story for thousands of years, but I think the shift right now is going to be bigger than what the people in power can control.
That's the thing. They're not in control. I know they think they are, but they're not.
Because knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power.
Yeah.
They are
Another
not.
thing she brought up in her podcast was not that the extraterrestrials will come physically here, suddenly be landing all over the world. But she's saying that they're going to start communicating with us mentally, and start the new shift towards that whole revelation. How do you guys
Yeah, I
feel
think
about
that's
that?
already happening. I think that's been happening for quite some time, though. You
Which
can
goes
go.
back to the 3 AI that we were
Hmm.
talking about.
Hmm.
Atlas.
Hmm.
Hmm. Yeah, they've been doing that for quite some time. I mean, if you think about, I'm not trying to get off the subject, but if you think about the movie Star Trek, back in the day, the first Star Trek, they said that this happened in a room telepathically from alien beings. And from that, they created this series called Star Trek. I was like, oh, that's kind of crazy. But, and Nikolai Tesla, he said he got all of his things and his inventions through his dreams. So did people like Leonardo da Vinci. All of those guys got it through that way. So I think that's been going on for quite some time.
Hmm.
Quite some time.
So are
They
you
were
saying you feel like that came from extraterrestrials? Or would you suggest that that's coming from universal flow or from source itself?
well, yes, because this may go a little deep because it's not necessarily one source that will give that message or one source that, I mean, we got angels, we got guides, we have ancestors. There are a lot of sources that can, help us here. So, and we think of them as alien because we don't identify them as humans.
I think the flip side of that, um, I think living in the world we are, we think everything has to be super physical, and I can feel, I can touch, but like I think, like I was saying, things can come to you in dreams and stuff, or not even dreams, just like, you know what I'm saying? We need to ascend to the next level up in the
Yeah.
way of our thinking. But it's not all this, you know what I'm saying?
Because one of my tools I use, I have notepads that I have filled up that I sleep with because I purposely, when I wake up in the morning, I was like, I know I had a dream, and I'll just lay there and then I'll turn to where the pad is and I'll just start writing down what it is so you won't hit light or anything like that because
Hmm.
they're crucial to my expansion. I'm like, I'm like, why did I dream about that? What was that about? And so I have vivid dreams all the time about things.
That's interesting though, because do you think information is carried through vibrations? Are you picking up extraterrestrial vibrations from throughout the galaxy that just, bam, you got them, and they give
Absolutely.
you that information?
Because everything is already out there. Everything's already there. Everything that we need to know is already out there in the galaxy. So unless you have to set your vibration to that level where you can receive that information. It's already out there. Nikolai Tesla, as a genius as he was, that's what he got his stuff from. It all came through his dreams. It was already out there. It's not like he reinvented anything. It was his dreams.
You know
Yeah,
what's interesting about that is, I mean, you all know that I do readings and I'm a conduit for whomever is speaking through me to the people that I'm doing readings for. One day I was listening to someone who was channeling some extraterrestrial from some planet. Now, the
Mm.
interesting thing to me was I suddenly realized that the way they were speaking and in the cadence that they were speaking and with the dialect they were speaking, it instantly took me back to a reading that I did that I sounded exactly
Woo!
Exactly the same way as this person channeling an extraterrestrial. And I thought, was that me
Wow.
channeling that instead of what it was very interesting. It was very interesting because I had not spoken necessarily in that exact cadence before, but as soon as I heard that voice, I recognized it basically to be my own.
Woo!
Or you went to a different dimension.
That's powerful.
Or I just don't know. And I never thought about it until I heard that person. Yeah.
Wow.
Powerful. So yeah, so it's already out there.
Right.
Yes, it is already out there. Everything. We just have to set our vibrations to receive it.
Yeah. Open
Yep.
yourself up.
Yes. Yes.
And I'm going to say the last thing, because there are two left, but we've hit that magical 1 hour point,
Okay.
is how can we make choices rooted in collaboration and not division during these uncertain times?
Mm. That's a tough question.
Yeah.
And mine is to be mindful, especially when I'm out in the public, because energy, all types of energies are all out there, when you're in the public. And so just make sure that you're self-aware. I'm here and I'm here to do this particular thing, and keep that focus, because people can throw you off
Yeah.
and get you off and make your energy level drop. So we just got to stay mindful.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a lot of the little things too, is that instead of talking about that homeless person like they're outside of you, stop
Right.
that. Help that homeless person, or at the very least, don't look down on them. What the heck? It could be any of us at any point in time, or it could have been us in another lifetime. And I think the really important thing to do is I actually go talk to homeless people. The number one thing that they tell me is I made them feel human again, because everybody ignores them.
Yeah.
And whether we like it or not, they are a part of our community. And really, they're just an extension of us.
Absolutely.
So I think that brings community together. I think it brings hope to all, because we all got to have hope in this time and age of all of this chaos.
Yes, I agree.
Well, peeps, it looks like everybody's getting a little tired here. Just as a short note, next week is going to be really fun. We're going to talk about 16 signs that you are rising to the new earth, to the new.
I'm already ready.
And you're prepared, exactly. So all of you should have an email. If you don't, let me know. It has the 16 signs, what it means spiritually, and I really do want you to dive deep. Make your notes so that we can all collaborate together to see who's feeling what experiences are people having, and see if you're rising to the new earth. This is Laura Wilford with my beautiful podcast group with The Change Starts Here. I love y'all. Make sure you comment, make sure you like, make sure you share, because we need that to grow, to touch and reach all of the people out there. Everybody have a good night. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.